What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Oh Lord, that's my intro for if I'm going to pre-record it. Hey y'all, welcome. We are 100% on the review channel. I did post on the community wall on the main channel. We are 100% over here. So if you know anybody that's looking for us, let them know this is where we are. I posted it. I'm going to put it on Instagram, and then we are going to get this party started. So, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 11 was last night. So, we're about to get into it. Some very interesting things went down. I still feel, how do I feel? I still feel like this whole storyline with Trisha and Ken, and now we've met her husband. I definitely have some thoughts. I still think the storyline is trash, but we do have a little bit more insight on some things. Taya said that she enjoyed it. Okay. All right. The show is not good. Well, Miss Pretty Thing, tell us how you think. Just tell us how you feel, Miss Pretty Thing. I just feel like these stories, I don't know. All right. Okay. I just think the storyline itself, these storylines are just Okay, so let's get into it. The two main things that happened this episode was really two main storylines that went down this whole episode. I don't know I'm wondering if Carlos is phasing the OGs out. Because, like I said last week, we're not really getting the OGs a whole lot. We really aren't. I mean, we see they're basically cameos and supporting cast to the Ken and Barbie. Well, I say Ken and Barbie, but the Ken and Trisha. The Ken and Trisha and the Nell situation. And then, of course, Sunny and Stormy, Sunny and what's her name? Destiny. But anyway, let's get into it. So we start this episode off. We have Nell and her family are still talking about the therapy. Now, I'm really, 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 really confused by this whole situation. I think I missed something because y'all know I missed a season. So maybe I missed something in the season I did not see as far as Nell and her kids. Okay. So if I did put it in the chat, tell me what insight I need. Tell me what I missed. Tell me what I need to know. Because I'm so confusion. Okay. I am so confusion. So did the husband think he should be able to up and leave? Listen, we're going to get to this husband because so Nell is talking to the kids and she is adamant that she does not need therapy. I think the family needs therapy because clearly there is some disconnect with setting boundaries and holding to those boundaries, right? So I really think that the family needs some sort of therapy, right? But on the flip side, I don't know how this became so focused on Nell, right? You know what, Xavier? That's fair. Xavier said, to be fair, people have been complaining about the OGs for years. Carlos is just giving the people what they want. That is fair. That is fair. That is very fair, Xavier. With that being said, though, we'll get to that in a minute because, baby, I got some stuff to say about this. But that is what happened. I mean, Nell is just adamant that she doesn't need therapy, that she just wants them to go to therapy. And basically, what Nell wants is for them to go to Dr. Francis to tell them that they're wrong, that they need to do better, they need to treat her better, and they need to pay her money back, right? That's what it sounds like to me. And I'm still stuck on what I said last week. Either Nell done got herself in a really bad financial situation and she doesn't want to be honest about how bad it is, or this is made up. I don't know. I don't know. Nell definitely needs therapy, but I think she can't see that she does because it's like the kids are trying to distract from the topic. I agree with that, Taya. I think, you know how you have a conversation and the conversation starts in one place and then somehow it floats into something else. And I do think that might be part of why Miss Nell is upset, because maybe Miss Nell is like, listen, excuse me, hello, we're not talking about all of that right now. We're talking about the issue at hand. And the issue at hand is I want my money. Because it sounds like she's not just saying, I want y'all to stop asking to borrow money. I need my money back. Again, do I think that Nell and Chris are on the verge of bankruptcy? I don't. But do I think that Nell has maybe put herself in a situation that she hasn't been honest with Chris about? Maybe. Because it just seems like this is deeper than the kids asking for money. It just seems like this situation runs a little bit deeper. I don't know. So then we go down to Black. Now, let me tell y'all something. I know y'all give me a hard time about liking Marcel. I know y'all give me a hard time. But, baby, when I tell you that anybody that ever questioned or didn't understand why I fucks with Marcel, this right here should let you know why I messes with Marcel. Baby, that guy came in there. I ain't even bother to write his name down. We're going to call him Deadbeat Dad, okay? We're going to call him Deadbeat Daddy. Now, Marcel used to work, the guy used to work for Marcel when I guess he was a manager of a movie theater or something like that. And here's another thing I'm confused about too. He was like, the last time I was here was a couple of years ago for homecoming, when me and Ken almost got into a fight. And Marcel was like, okay, I vaguely remember something like that happening, but that was you? He was like, yeah, and I owe you an apology. So here's where I'm confusion. Later on in the episode, Trish is like, well, me and him haven't really had a conversation since he left. I think there are layers to this, because it sounds like he originally left and he stayed in Huntsville, and then he left and went to Atlanta. So I'm not sure the timeline and what she's saying. Is she saying when he left to go to Atlanta, or when he left to go like left? Like I'm a little confusion with this timeline. This timeline is just off for me. But neither here nor there. This fool, and yes, I called him a fool because what up, Don Boo? Yes, I'm calling him a fool because he is a whole fool. He's talking to Marcel, and this is what because I'm gonna cut through all the BS. Here's what it sounds like to me. You mad that somebody else done picked up the ball and taking care of your kids. And Marcel, can I tell you, I love Marcel, and I see everybody in the comments agreeing with me. I love Marcel this episode because Marcel didn't cut him no slack. Marcel was like, well, that's what happens when you leave your house. That's what happens when you leave your kids. That's what happens when you're not there. And when Marcel asked this fool, because I'm going to just keep calling him that, a fool. When Marcel asked this fool, so answer me this question. When your daughter comes home from school and she had a bad day at school and she's crying, do you not want him to comfort her? Or he was like, nah, I don't want him to say nothing to her. I want him to tell her to call her daddy. Marcel was like, so you don't want him to hug her, tell her it's going to be okay? You don't want him to do nothing. I want him to tell her to call me. You know what? My daughter said that I abandoned them, and I know they put that in her head. Marcel was like, wait a minute. How old is your daughter? She's 10. She's not old enough for that. He said, she don't even want, she won't even tell me she loved me anymore. Marcel was like, that's about the age that they stopped doing it. See, that's coming from a man who's been in the house with his kids. Now, I know we give Marcel a lot of shit. I was one of the ones clowning Marcel season 1 when he didn't know that his son was allergic to eggs, okay? I did that. That was me. So I know we give Marcel a lot of shit. But when Marcel was like, well, that's about the age the kids stop telling their parents they love them. That's par for the course. And he was like, no, somebody put that in her head. He said, so let me explain. He said, so let me understand something. You raised your daughter to be a smart, intelligent person, young lady who can think for herself, who can comprehend thoughts, and who can express herself. And you're surprised that she can tell you abandoned me because that's what you did. When 2 + 2 = 4, there ain't nothing else to say. When 2 + 2 = 4, there's nothing else to say. This man is stupid. And that's why I'm just going to keep calling him stupid. Stupid camera. I'm going to keep calling this man stupid because that's what he is. He's stupid. Now, the one thing I will agree with, when there's a situation with co-parenting and there's another person, whether it be a woman or a man that comes into the situation, I do think that in the best interest of co-parenting, all parties should be able to have a conversation. However, when one of the parties is an idiot, that sometimes makes it hard. And in this case, I think one of the parties is an idiot. Now, I do believe Trish, when Trish says the timeline, he's trying to make it seem like I was messing with this dude while me and him was still actively married. And that wasn't the case. I believe Trish. I do believe Trish that I believe that Ken was somebody around, but I do not think they crossed any lines while she was still actively married. I don't believe that. But this dude is an idiot. Like, you're not there. Then he finally said, well, I mean, I agree. I'm not around as much as I should be. Okay, well, ding, 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 ding. There's the answer. Sir, you're not there. And you have allowed another man to come into, your house and step in. When this man said, I mean, he was taking, I ain't like seeing him taking my daughter to dances. You mean daddy-daughter dances? Daddy-daughter dances? I didn't like, he helping my son get ready for homecoming. Well, where the hell were you? Did you know it was homecoming? Did you help your son get a suit? Did you show him how to tie a tie? Did you take him to the barber shop to get his hair cut for homecoming? Did you help him get a corsage? Do kids still do corsages? I don't know if they do corsages, but were you there? Like, did you show up and Trish said, no, Ken is going to do it? Or were you not there to get it done? Did Ken step in where you left a void, or did they push you out the way? Because I don't believe that's what happened. Because you didn't say, man, I showed up, I called my son, I asked him about homecoming, and they lied to me, or they told me no, or she said I couldn't be there. I don't believe none of that happened. I don't believe none of that happened. Then this fool said, well, he did buy my, the car that my son driving, he bought it. So this man is daddy. This man is daddy. And you have a problem with it because you dropped the ball. It could be Ken, Bob, Billy, Joe, Stanley, Joseph. It could be anybody. You're mad because you dropped the ball. And Marcelo cut him at every angle. Every angle he tried to come up with, every time he tried to say something different, every time he tried to be like, no, but this happened. No, but that happened. No, but he was like, nope, shoosh, nope, shoosh, nope, shoosh. I love it. Marcelo, baby, I love it. He was there. He said, you can't, he said, you have to admit to yourself that you didn't just leave your wife, you left your family. I understand maybe going to Atlanta was an opportunity for him. Maybe it was a job opportunity. Maybe it was a better situation for him. I understand all of that. But also understand that comes with sacrifices. That comes with, if you move out of town, away from your family, you are sacrificing something. You can call your kids every day. That's great. You could come every holiday. But you're going to miss the little stuff. You're going to miss the basketball games, the cheerleading, the dances, the homecomings. You said that Ken bought your son a car. Did Ken teach your son how to drive too? Bet he did. I bet he did. Xavier said he's jealous-minded. Those are the worst men to be around. Ooh. Tyus said, I think he was absent in Huntsville and moved to Atlanta and remained absent. He really thought he could come on this show, tell his side, and people was going to feel pretty. I don't know how much whatever it was, they paid him because, baby, you look a damn fool. And let me tell you something else. I agree 100%, Tyus. I think he was absent when he was in Huntsville. I don't think he was an active father when he was still living in Huntsville. I don't believe that either. I don't usually agree with Marcelo, but he was hitting every exact. Listen, Marcelo, even Marcelo's haters gotta admit that this one he got right. That you ain't gotta like him all the time, you know. But y'all know I love me some Marcelo. But you ain't gotta like him all the time. But you gotta admit that when this one Marcelo got it. So the next scene we see is Nell and Melody. Y'all. Okay, I'm gonna just stick to the scene because I don't want to get it because I don't even feel like dealing with the millimeters. Okay, but Nell's hair look cute. I like Nell's the curly Q and that color on her. I really did like that. But Nell went to talk to Mel and let Mel know how she felt about talking to the kids, setting the boundaries, and how she felt like the conversation flipped on her, right? But Melody gave her some good advice. Melody was like, girl, you do have a tendency to blow up. You do have a tendency to get very emotional. You've done it to me. You've done it to your kids. You've done it to other people. And maybe, you know, maybe it would behoove you to have the conversation with Dr. Francis. I mean, and then, of course, they talked about how therapy is important, you know, in the Black community. A lot of times, especially older people don't want to do therapy. But Nell is just adamant that, because again, I do think she's connecting therapy to something being wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with, well, I ain't gonna say nothing wrong with you. But therapy doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Therapy means you need some assistance. I think every scene with Mel and Nell feels contrived to me. It just... I'm going to just go on and say it, child. Mel just comes off so disingenuous to me. Like, this whole scene, Mel just seems so fake to me. Hey, girl, hey, Nell, and I don't know Mel from a hole in the wall. That might be how she really is in real life with her friends. I don't know. But it just, that scene just came off so not genuine to me. Nell lacks accountability for the situation she's put the entire family in. Well, what's the situation, Miss Gigi? Tell me. What situation did she put the whole family in? Right, Xavier. It's not even deep therapy. It's really You're right. I should use the right term. It's counseling. It's not even like deep therapy, ma'am. It is counseling. But yeah, so that was that scene. Then we get the therapy scene, and the son is saying how he feels like, what did you come into? What up? I beat a We talking about Love Marriage Huntsville, honey. I'm on the scene with Mel. Look, Nell going to therapy with the family. Her son says, listen, I go to dad because you know what the worst thing you can do to somebody when they're in the middle of a crisis? I told you so. There's plenty time for the I told you so's. There's plenty time for the I told you so's. If your child says, Mom, I'm gonna go buy this car, and you know that car is a lemon, and you told them that car was a lemon and it wasn't a good idea, and they buy it anyway, when that car breaks down and they can't get to work and they call you for Uber money or the money to get it fixed, I'm not saying you can't tell them, I told you not to buy that damn car. But it sounds like she harps on stuff because she said it. Hold on, y'all. Because she said it about 3 or 4 times. She said, well, if you would just listen to me to begin with, stuff wouldn't happen. If you would just do what I tell you to do, stuff wouldn't happen. If you would just, I walked in on you having my voice was high pitched. I'm sorry. So it's like, I wish, like, that's just the worst time. Again, it's okay to be like, child, I told you not to buy that daggone car. What you need? The other thing, too, is you have to, again, they talk about setting boundaries. Here's the thing. I think I've told you guys this before. My grandmother, I borrowed money from my grandmother twice in my life. And my grandmother told me, pay me back when you tell me you're going to pay me back. She said, I don't care if you got to turn around the next day and borrow that money again. But if you tell me you're going to pay me on Friday, pay me my money on Friday. Now, if you need it back on Saturday, we can talk, that's fine. She said, but do what you tell me you're going to do. And that's how you keep your credit good with me. I don't understand people who can't do that, especially even with their kids, right? Shit happens. We get ourselves in a situation. I've borrowed money from my parents before, but guess what? The word is borrow. Borrow. And I've paid it back. Me and my sister borrowed money back and forth like it ain't nothing. Child, we just cash app. And I feel like we just be cash apping the same money back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We do it all the time. But if my sister say, I got you on payday, I know that on payday, my cash app is going to ching-a-ling-a-ling. So I don't understand why it's so hard for these people to be like, no, you still owe me $200 from when I help you get your car fixed. No, I don't have $50 for your phone bill. You just, because guess what? At the end of the day, your phone getting cut off it's not going to hurt nothing. Hell, half the time nowadays, with these smartphones, if you got Wi-Fi, you can still text. So I don't understand why this is such a hard conversation with these grown-ass kids. But it sounds like that when they do call you, when they do need you, they got to listen to you go off for 30 minutes before they get what they want. And that is when you are in the middle of a crisis, especially as a grown person, you already embarrassed. You already know, like, I know you told me not to buy this car. I know you did. I know you told me, but now I got to humble myself and I got to call you for some money to get the car fixed that you told me not to buy. And the last thing I need is to get a 30-40 minute rant of you yelling at me about what I did wrong. Because I already know what I did wrong. Y'all see what I'm saying? Now, again, you can sit down and have the conversation on the back end and be like, listen, you bought the car. It's a lemon. We got to get rid of it and we got to help you get a new car. Like, there are ways to remedy situations without all of that. Because the way she was talking in that therapy session, child, if that's how she be talking to them kids, I understand why they be getting frustrated as hell. Right. Nell listens to respond and not to understand. Provide them emotional support that they need. I agree. I don't lend out money. I can't relate. I'll give it away. Or nah, I've been there and done that and we fell out. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. If you don't never lend money you can't afford to give, child, because if you want pins and needles waiting for your money, and child, let me tell you something. The kids should be successful entrepreneurs like their parents. What went wrong? Well, everybody ain't everybody. You know what I'm saying, Parker boy? Like, I don't know if I agree with that statement that they should be successful entrepreneurs, but I do think that they should be at a point where they don't have to call to pay their cell phone bill. Like I said, stuff happens, and I was grown, working a grown job, and had to borrow money from my parents, and because everybody ain't meant to be an entrepreneur. We got to get out of that mindset that everybody meant to own a business. If everybody owns the business, who gonna run the businesses? You know what I'm saying? So they may not be entrepreneur material. Everybody ain't meant to be an entrepreneur. That shit ain't easy. Life ain't easy for an entrepreneur. You know. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that statement, but I do agree that they should be at a point where they don't need to nickel and dime their parents. Now that I agree with. And if all four of them are calling for money, I understand Nell's frustration. I do. I 100% understand Nell's frustration. What I don't understand is why it seems to be so hard. I don't know. Again, I ain't grow up with them kind of parents. Like I said, my parents help, they would help us, but it was never here. I agree with you, Parker boy. They should have, because last week when they were celebrating one of the kids getting a job, I was like, why? What? Why we don't have no job? Everybody owning a business is why haircuts cost $80 and wig installations are $300. Well, I learned to plant the seed and walk away. When the kids do the opposite and it doesn't go right, when we have to bail them out of a jam, I don't need to throw it in their face. I mean, like I said, I have gotten myself into situations where, and my mother has come back on the back end, but on the front end, she knew I was emotional. She knew I was hurt or in my feelings or going through whatever it was that I was going through. Yeah, we had the conversation on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I think it was a good session. I hope they continue the session because they do need some family counseling. Because clearly, going back to Parker Boy's point, clearly there are some disconnects in the family, right? There are clearly some disconnects with these kids. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and call a thing. There are clearly some disconnect with these kids. They're grown-ass kids, and it does seem like they're relying too much on mama and daddy. Now, I will say that. But I don't feel like they needed Dr. Francis for that. I do feel like there needs to be, but there clearly is some, they are a blended family. So I don't know. I do think it was a good session, though. I know it seemed like it was all about Nell, but I'm sure it was edited that way. I'm sure the other kids did speak. I'm sure it went deeper than just what we saw. But I do, again, I love Dr. Francis, and I feel like Dr. Francis definitely has a way of cutting through the bull and getting to the ish. And I love the fact that he don't have no cut cards. Like, he don't have no favorites. He don't have no cut cards. He called it like he see it. We saw with, Lewis and what was that other girl named Tiffany? Everybody don't appreciate it, Chris said on his interview with Dustin that the amounts would be like 25, 75, 13. See, I'm not giving that kind. See, Charlene, that's crazy. Now, I ain't never asked my parents for that kind of money. $2,500, $7,500, $13,000. The answer is no. The answer is no. I'm going to say it one more time. The answer is no. $13,000. Yeah, that's crazy as hell. Yeah. And I don't understand why that's hard to say no. Again, that house is big enough that if somebody about to get put out, okay, well, you just got to move in here. I'm not giving you that kind of money. Because how you get in that? And again, stuff happens, but for it to be that often in those amounts, they're just out here wilding. They're just out here wilding. And they feel like, well, mama and daddy got it. Mama and daddy got it. See, the problem is y'all started that. Y'all created the monsters. Y'all created the monsters. Child, I wouldn't even know how to fix my lips to ask my parents for that kind of money. Good God. Sheesh. She was paying rent for little Chris, getting out of jail, attorney fee. First of all, Chris would have been living with me. Second of all, I mean, I get it. You don't want your kids in jail. Okay, so you pay his bail to get him out of jail. Okay, you pay him to have a decent attorney. Okay, but let me tell you what, you paying all of that back. That is not a loan. I'm not giving you none of that. And I don't give a damn if you got go down to the car wash and wash cars every weekend or whatever you got to do, baby. You paying me all of that money back. Oh, and that's a one-time thing. Let you go out here and get arrested again. You are on your own. I wish I would. And depending on what you got arrested for the first time, you might be on your own, sir. That's crazy as hell. Okay. I done drug that out as long as I can drag that out, child. This episode really wasn't given a lot, so I done gave it more than I needed to be given. So next we see Trish meeting up with the idiot. Right, T? Hey, boo. Chris refused to pay the vet bills for his own dog. Chris who? Big Chris or Little Chris? Like Fletcher Chris or the son, Bluebell? So this last part, we see the idiot sitting with, because I think Trish is a damn idiot too, honestly. Listen, I'm not really feeling Trish either, y'all. I'm going to just tell y'all the truth. I'm not feeling Trish. I feel like Trish was a whole Lil Chris. So Lil Chris had a dog, and Lil Chris wouldn't pay the vet fees for the dog. See, that's sorry. See, that's the problem. The problem, I'm going to just go on and say, the problem is you got some sorry-ass kids. That's the problem. But see, you created those monsters. And see, that now you've created those monsters, and now you want to try to change the game. You know, this what they used to. You got to say no and you got to mean it. And they can't play y'all against each other. They can't call Big Chris when Nell say no and vice versa. Y'all got to stand united. Y'all got to say no means no. And I mean it, and that's it. And you're going to have to deal with the consequences of it. You know, unfortunately, you have a dog, and I hate to say it like that. I'm sorry, if the dog got sick and you already owe me thousands and thousands of dollars, you're going to have to figure something else out. Sorry, not sorry. You know, they have programs where you can finance, and your credit probably ain't shit, but you can finance the vet bills, or you need to get some pet insurance, or I don't know. Maybe if you can't afford to pay your daily bills, you probably shouldn't build another bill by going out and getting a dog. I don't know. And I know that's very harsh, and I hope I'm not offending any pets lovers, dog lovers. But at the end of the day, why would you go out here and get another bill and you can't take care of your damn self? Yeah, they created those monsters. Dr. Francis can't fix that for y'all. Y'all created that. Y'all created that mess. Dr. Francis can't fix it. Anyway, moving on. Moving forward. Okay. So Trish meets with the idiot in the park. I don't have nothing for this. I don't. I feel like I already gave y'all everything with Marcelo. This man is an idiot. He mad because another man done moved in his house and doing what he's supposed to be doing and taking care of his kids, and he just can't handle it. He just can't handle it. That's really what it is. I don't have nothing more for this. I really don't. I don't have nothing else to add to this layer. He's a dummy. And I hope Carlos gave him a good little coin to come on TV and look stupid, because that is what you look. You look dumb. You look so dumb right now. You just look dumb. And you still mad about conversations that happened 5 years ago. I called him and asked him what was up, and he told me talk to my bitch. Ken ain't say that. Because you know why Ken ain't say that? Because that ain't what you said to Marcel. You said that Ken told you check your woman. You ain't say the bitch. That's how I know that ain't what Ken said. Now, Ken probably did say you check your woman. But it sounds like this was after y'all weren't even together no more. Well, y'all still married, but y'all know what I'm saying. Right, Parker Boy, just dumb in front of the whole world. Just stupid. He talking about something, well, I can't move forward until we have a conversation. See, this is why I say I can't do Trish either, right? This is why I say I can't do her either. Because I don't know what the laws in the state of Alabama are, but there has to be something for abandonment. There has to be, abandonment of I don't know the proper legal term, but there's got to be something where the person just leaves and is not there, ain't paying no, because I know he ain't paying no damn child support. Because if he was paying child support, he'd have said that to Marcel. I'm sending all this money, and this man taking all the credit. So that's how I know you're not paying no child support. That's how I know you're not consistently giving that woman no money. That's how I know. Because you'd have said it. You would have said it when you was talking to Marcel. Because you was really trying to plead your case to Marcel. You was really trying to make Marcel feel like, you was doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's number one. Number two, I done lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I don't know. But, then he's going to say, well, all right, well, while I'm in town, I'll go ahead and file it. I think it's about $400. You going half on it? I just don't understand why y'all ain't did it before. Thank you, Parker Boy. Yes, please hit the like button. Y'all know we're trying to build this channel up over here. So please, and thank you. I have not put membership on this channel, and I'm not going to put membership on this channel right now. It is fully monetized. So if y'all want to go ahead and break our cherry and go ahead and give me a super chat and break the cherry over here, that's great. We just got our monetization last week. So this is the first video I'm doing solo. I did one Friday night, but the first one I did solo. So, go ahead and hit us with a super chat if you want to, so we can break the cherry. But anyway, I just don't understand this. I don't understand why you had this man, Ken, living in your house all these years. Why I don't understand why you ain't filed for divorce. Like none of what y'all are saying is making any sense to me. I promise you I don't get it. I don't. But that was stupid. And then for her to act like she got an attitude about it. Why you got an attitude about it? Go on and split that thing, get that man that $200. And then she talking about something. Ken will pay for it. I bet you Ken would have paid the whole $500 or $400 if you had said something. Thank you, Rebu. I bet you he would have paid the whole thing. That's why I said I don't understand these people. But anyway, that was the episode, y'all. It really wasn't a whole lot there, y'all. It really wasn't a whole lot there, but that was the episode. We may be back tonight for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I started watching it. I'm about halfway done. If I feel like talking about it tonight, we will. If not, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But with that being, we probably will talk about it tomorrow. But I want to talk about a lot of things tomorrow. But anyway, we'll see how I feel when I finish watching the episode. They might make me mad and I might have something to say, child. But with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for being here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please get subscribed to the channel. If you're catching this in the replay, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, child. Y'all know what we do. And I will talk to y'all later. Mwah! Peace.